By 2030, could a single AI training cluster cost $1 trillion and consume 20% of the US electric grid output? Let's find out. Those predictions come from Leopold Aschenbrenner's paper, Situational Awareness. The point that he's making is the immense demand, the gigantic scaling for AI, and the necessary power consumption that compute demands. So is it true? Well, the scaling is definitely true. We're seeing a huge infrastructure push for GPUs, data centers, and power capacity. Now, what Aschenbrenner does is he looks at the scaling laws used by OpenAI training their GPT models, and he realized that every 2 years they were using another 10 times, another order of magnitude more compute to train the newest model. So, for example, if in 2022 GPT-4 required 10,000 H100 GPUs and cost $500 million, then by 2024 the next model would basically take 100,000 H100 GPUs and cost billions of dollars. So if that scaling continues by 2030, you're looking at 100 million H100 GPUs, $1 trillion, and a power consumption that is 20% of the US electric production. Now, is the math right? Yes. Is the demand right? Right now, yes. Are we going to build a $1 trillion cluster using 20% of US electricity by 2030? Probably not. So let's return to our friend, the S-curve. And what we see with the S-curve is that there's an exponential phase during which your scaling is essentially limited by your own internal constraints. But then the curve begins to roll over when external factors begin to reassert themselves. The reality is there's only so many H100 chips that NVIDIA can put out or that other manufacturers can put out. There is only so much power generation, and it is only so quickly that you can add to power generation. Now, Aschenbrenner realizes that, and here's where he switches to a policy argument. He suggests that what we need to do is actually start massively ramping up US electric power build out to keep the lead in AI. Will that happen? I'm sure some of it will. However, it's also much easier to optimize algorithms and data than to build energy capacity. Now, we don't have great methods for optimizing the energy consumption for AI training, but there's going to be increasing pressure to do that, especially as these electric generation numbers get higher and higher. So I do think that we'll start to see the rollover by 2030. We might get to the 2028 numbers, but I think external factors are going to begin to reassert themselves. Next, we're going to talk about geopolitics and national security and why Aschenbrenner thinks the government needs to take over security for AI labs.